Chapter 1. The CEO's Misunderstanding. The 15th floor of GMM Group's headquarters was eerily quiet. The faint hum of office equipment was the only sound accompanying Jasper Whitmore as he strode down the hall, his polished leather shoes tapping against the sleek marble flooring. It was well past working hours, but Jasper had never been one to leave early. Efficiency had no time constraints. Tonight, however, something was off. A light flickered from the pantry room at the end of the corridor. Jasper frowned. The floor was supposed to be empty. His employees knew better than to linger unnecessarily. He pushed open the door without hesitation. The sight that met him sent his heart into overdrive. A body lay sprawled motionless on the floor, limbs askew. A dark liquid pooled around the figure, glistening under the fluorescent lights. Jasper's brain processed the scene in rapid succession. 1. Someone was unconscious. 2. Blood. Or was it blood? 3. Possible workplace violence. 4. Murder. In his company. His fingers moved instinctively to his phone. Security, he barked. Get to the 15th floor. Now, I think we have a groan cut through his sentence. Jasper stiffened. The body moved. A soft mumble followed. Ugh. 5 more minutes. Jasper blinked. The corpse just snoozed him. Dropping his phone from his ear, he crouched down, taking a closer look. The victim was young, with tousled dark hair and a uniform that marked him as a lower-level employee. His face was slack with exhaustion, his breathing even. No visible wounds. Jasper narrowed his eyes. Get up, he commanded. The man didn't stir. Jasper poked his shoulder. Nothing. Then he noticed something else. A nasty bruise was forming at the back of the man's head. Jasper's stomach dropped. Oh hell. He shook the man's shoulder more firmly this time. Wake up. A slow flutter of lashes. The man's eyelids cracked open, revealing dazed, unfocused brown eyes. Wah? Jasper exhaled sharply. What happened? The man blinked at him sluggishly. Huh. Jasper clenched his jaw. You. On the floor. Unconscious. Surrounded by liquid that, at first glance, resembles blood. He paused, voice sharpening. Explain. The man furrowed his brows as if trying to piece things together. Oh. A long silence. Then, I think I fainted? Jasper stared at him. The man made a vague hand gesture toward the mess around him. Low blood sugar. Stood up too fast. Hit my head on something. Jasper's frown deepened. And the coke. Collateral damage. Jasper pinched the bridge of his nose. You're telling me I just called security for a soda spill? Before the man could answer, heavy footsteps pounded down the hall. The pantry room door burst open as Caleb Foster, Jasper's executive assistant, walked in with Elias Carter, the administrative manager, hot on his heels. 2 uniformed security officers followed closely behind them. Elias, out of breath, scanned the room in confusion. Where's the... His gaze landed on Levi, still sitting on the floor, surrounded by coke. Victim. Caleb, always composed, took one glance at Jasper's expression and sighed. Sir, he started, voice laced with exasperation. Please tell me you did not call security because someone dropped a soda. Jasper ignored him, turning back to Levi. Can you stand? Levi attempted to sit up, only to wince as he cradled the back of his head. Dizzy. Jasper's assessment skills kicked into high gear. Possible concussion. We're going to the hospital. Levi's eyes widened. Wait, what? No, I just... Don't argue. Jasper was already pulling out his phone. Caleb, get my car. Levi groaned. I really don't need. Elias, Caleb said, deadpan. Would you like to step in before we end up at the emergency room for a mild case of low blood sugar? Elias, who had been watching the scene unfold with barely suppressed amusement, crouched down beside Levi. Hey kid, can you walk? Levi gave a half-hearted nod. Elias grinned, then turned to Jasper. Then let's not traumatize the hospital staff tonight, yeah? Let's get him some food first. Jasper didn't look convinced. Caleb took the opportunity to step in. Sir, let's compromise. If he doesn't improve after eating, then we take him to the hospital. Jasper mulled it over. Finally, he gave a sharp nod. Fine. Levi let out a weak, victorious fist pump before immediately regretting the movement. 15 minutes later, Levi sat stiffly in Jasper's office, clutching a granola bar like it was a lifeline. Across from him, Jasper watched him like a hawk, arms crossed, jaw tight. Elias, seated comfortably on the couch, popped a potato chip into his mouth. Man, this is way better than the finance meeting I was supposed to be in. Levi, between bites, muttered. Glad my near-death experience is entertaining for you. Technically, Caleb said as he adjusted his cufflinks. You weren't actually dying. Levi scowled. Technically, I was unconscious in a puddle of liquid, which means I could have been dying. Jasper shot him a pointed look. And yet, you seem quite alive now. Levi huffed. Against all odds. Elias grinned. I like this kid. Jasper exhaled sharply. You're getting a medical checkup tomorrow. Levi nearly choked. What? Employees should be in peak condition, Jasper stated firmly. I don't want to walk into another crime scene caused by your lack of self-preservation. Caleb stifled a laugh. Levi gaped. Are you serious? Always. Levi turned helplessly to Elias. Help. Elias smirked. Nah, I'm enjoying the show. Levi dropped his head onto the desk with a groan. Jasper, ever efficient, pulled out his phone. Caleb, schedule the appointment. Caleb nodded. Already on it, sir. Levi muttered against the desk. Working at GMM Group is going to kill me. Jasper, with zero hesitation, responded. Not if I can prevent it. Elias laughed. Oh yeah, you're doomed. Chapter 2. The CEO's Obsession. Levi had a plan. It was simple. Go to work, pretend last night never happened, and avoid Jasper Whitmore for the foreseeable future. It was a solid plan. Unfortunately, it lasted about 10 minutes. Because before Levi could even reach his desk, Caleb Foster materialized in front of him like some kind of corporate grim reaper. Morning, Caleb greeted smoothly. You have an appointment. Levi blinked. What now? Your medical checkup, per Jasper's orders. Levi groaned. You've got to be kidding me. Caleb's expression remained neutral. You should know by now that Mr. Whitmore does not kid. The car is waiting. Levi glanced around the office, looking for an escape route. Elias, who had been standing by the pantry room with his coffee, caught his eye and smirked. Run, and he'll send security. Levi muttered a curse under his breath before sighing in defeat. Fine, let's get this over with. The hospital visit was exactly what Levi expected. Unnecessary and dramatic. The doctor ran a full checkup, confirming shockingly that Levi was not dying. Mild dehydration, low blood sugar, and a small bruise. You'll live, the doctor said dryly. Levi shot Jasper a look that screamed see. Jasper, seated in the corner with his arms crossed, remained unmoved. Run every test. Levi gaped. Are you serious? The doctor hesitated. I don't think that's necessary. Do it anyway, Jasper insisted, his tone brooking no argument. Levi dramatically dropped his head back against the chair. This is insane. Caleb, standing near the door, checked his watch. We'll be here a while. Want me to draft an employee wellness initiative while we wait? Jasper nodded approvingly. Good idea. Levi groaned. I hate this place. 3 hours and 1 unnecessary blood test later, Levi was finally freed from Jasper's medical inquisition. He returned to the office, certain that the ordeal was over. It wasn't, because on his desk, neatly arranged like some dystopian corporate care package, was a daily blood sugar monitoring plan. Levi stared at it, horrified. What the hell? Caleb strolled by, sipping his coffee. Welcome to your new reality. No, Levi said firmly. Absolutely not. But yes, as it turned out, because 5 minutes later Caleb returned, this time with food. Eat this, Caleb instructed, setting down a balanced meal. Per Jasper's orders. Levi scowled. You're actually following through with this? It's easier than dealing with Jasper's concerned mood swings. Just eat. Levi groaned but reluctantly picked up his fork. Across the office, Jasper watched with sharp eyes, ensuring compliance. Happy now, boss? Levi muttered, chewing aggressively. Jasper didn't even blink. Ensure you finish it. Caleb coughed to hide a laugh. Levi turned to him, eyes pleading. Caleb, please tell me this is temporary. Caleb patted his shoulder sympathetically. Temporary? No. Manageable? Maybe. Just eat before he adds mandatory health check-ins to your daily schedule. Levi looked horrified. Jasper, still standing nearby, narrowed his eyes. That's not a bad idea. Levi nearly choked on his food. He was joking. Elias, who had just walked by, grinned. Oh yeah, you're screwed. For the next few days, Levi did everything in his power to escape Jasper's overbearing concern. He skipped meals in the office, choosing instead to sneak out for quick bites at a nearby cafe. Didn't work. Caleb always found him. He tried dodging scheduled snack breaks. Also didn't work. Elias, clearly enjoying the chaos, casually reported every instance to Jasper. He even attempted hiding in the IT department once, only to be found in record time because Milo, the company's head of IT, coldly sold him out in exchange for a premium coffee blend Jasper promised him. ET2 Milo? Levi had whispered in betrayal. Milo merely shrugged. Better you than me. Levi was trapped. Jasper had never been one to obsess over an employee, not like this. But something about Levi's stubborn refusal to take care of himself triggered something deep in him. Something Jasper didn't fully understand. Late one night, sitting in his dimly lit office, Jasper found himself staring at the emergency contact information on Levi's employee profile. His fingers hovered over the screen before curling into a tight fist. A memory surfaced, unbidden. His mother brushing off a fall. It's nothing, she had said, waving away concern. Hours later, she had collapsed. Internal bleeding. Too late. Jasper's grip tightened on his pen. He had been a child, powerless to stop it. But here, now, he wasn't powerless. He could control this. Ensure it never happened again. Jasper exhaled slowly. Levi might not understand it, but this wasn't just about him. It was about never standing by helplessly again. So if he had to force Levi to take care of himself, if he had to monitor his meals, his rest, his damn blood sugar levels, so be it. Jasper wasn't losing this battle. Chapter 3. When concern becomes routine. Levi had officially entered a new reality. One where Jasper Whitmore dictated his meal schedule, monitored his breaks, and casually altered his life under the guise of concern. At first, Levi fought it. Then he resisted passively. Now he was just confused. Levi, eat. Levi sighed dramatically, staring at the protein bar placed in front of him like it was some foreign object. It's 9:07 a.m. Jasper didn't even look up from his tablet. And I just had breakfast. Like, actual breakfast. Jasper finally glanced up, fixing him with a cool stare. Then eat it as a snack. Levi groaned but picked it up anyway. You know, normal bosses don't do this. Jasper, unbothered, scrolled through his emails. Normal employees don't pass out in pantry rooms. Levi unwrapped the protein bar with more force than necessary. Touché. Across the office, Caleb casually leaned against a desk, watching with a knowing smirk. You're adjusting quickly. Levi shot him a glare. I'm being oppressed. Caleb sipped his coffee. Stockholm Syndrome starts like this. Jasper, without missing a beat, said, It's not Stockholm Syndrome. It's corporate policy. Levi muttered, This is not corporate policy. Jasper handed him another snack. It is now. At first, Levi assumed Jasper's control freak tendencies would fade. He was wrong. Very, very wrong. Because it didn't stop at snacks. It didn't stop at meals. It didn't even stop at work hours. One particularly long evening, Levi was heading toward the elevator when his phone buzzed. Jasper, did you eat dinner? Levi stared. Then he turned around, only to see Jasper standing in his office, staring right at him through the glass wall. Levi nearly dropped his phone. "Oh my God!" Jasper raised an unimpressed brow. "Answer the question." Levi looked around for help, but Caleb was nowhere to be seen, probably because he had escaped this madness long ago, and Elias, who had zero interest in saving him, was laughing from his own desk. "Dude, just answer," Elias called. "The faster you comply, the faster you leave." Levi scowled, typing a sarcastic reply. "Levi, yes, Dad." Jasper's phone vibrated. He checked it. Then, he sent a follow-up question. "Jasper, what did you eat?" Levi made a strangled noise. "I cannot live like this." Elias grinned. "You'd be surprised what you can survive." But the strangest part? Levi stopped fighting it. He stopped questioning why Jasper always made sure he ate during company events. He stopped complaining when a neatly packed lunch showed up at his desk, perfectly aligned with his schedule. One day, he even caught himself opening a snack before Caleb reminded him, and the realization hit him like a truck. He was getting used to it. He was getting used to Jasper, and he didn't hate it. Chapter 4. Discovered warmth. Levi was never late. Sure, he pushed the limits of acceptable arrival times. Maybe he cut it close every morning with a coffee in hand, sliding into his seat just as the clock struck the hour. But outright not showing up? That was new. And Jasper Whitmore did not handle the unexpected well. It started with a glance at the time, then another, then a sharp, irritated tap against his desk as he checked his phone. No message, no email, no sign of Levi Evans anywhere in the GMM building. Jasper's jaw tightened. "Caleb, where's Levi?" Caleb Foster, ever calm, barely looked up from his tablet. "Not in yet." "Obviously," Jasper snapped. "Did he call in sick?" "Not that I'm aware of." Jasper's fingers curled around his pen. "Find out. Now." Caleb sighed but obeyed, dialing a number as Jasper impatiently watched. After a few rings, Caleb lowered the phone, eyebrows slightly raised. No answer. Jasper's stomach twisted. He didn't like this. Not one bit. 30 minutes later, Jasper had gone from mildly irritated to full-blown anxious. Caleb had tried Levi's phone 3 more times. No response. Elias, who had been leaning against Caleb's desk with a coffee, finally commented, "You're spiraling." Jasper ignored him. What was his last known location? Elias blinked. "Jesus, are you running a company or the CIA?" Caleb, unfazed, checked his screen. His apartment, last recorded login at 6:42 a.m. Jasper was already grabbing his coat. "I'm going there." Elias nearly choked on his coffee. "Wait, you're going? Do you see anyone else getting results?" Jasper shot back. Caleb barely sighed before tossing Jasper his car keys. "At least take the SUV. If you're going to storm across the city, do it comfortably." Jasper caught the keys and was gone. The rain had already started by the time Jasper reached Levi's neighborhood. A steady downpour that blurred the streets and soaked the sidewalks. He barely noticed. His focus was singular. Find Levi. By the time he reached Levi's building, his pulse was hammering in his ears. He didn't knock on the apartment door. He pounded. No answer. Jaw clenched, Jasper stepped back, scanning the surroundings. Then, through the heavy rain, he saw a familiar figure emerging from a nearby side street. Levi, drenched. Jasper didn't think. He moved. Levi, soaked from head to toe, was jogging toward the building. His clothes clinging to him, water dripping from his hair. His phone was clutched in one hand, his expression frustrated, until he looked up. His eyes widened. Jasper! Jasper was already closing the distance, his breath coming fast, adrenaline surging through his veins. Where the hell were you? Levi blinked, clearly caught off guard. What? Jasper didn't let him finish. His vision flashed. His mother brushing off a fall. His mother saying she was fine. His mother collapsing hours later. Too late. His chest tightened painfully. And before he could stop himself, before he even thought, Jasper reached out, grabbing Levi's wrist and pulling him forward into a tight embrace. Levi froze. The world seemed to pause. Jasper's arms were strong, firm, desperate. Not calculated, not controlled, just relieved. Levi's brain short-circuited. Ah! Jasper's breath was unsteady against his ear. His grip was borderline crushing. Levi had never felt Jasper like this before. Slowly, cautiously, Levi lifted a hand and patted Jasper's soaked back. Hey, I'm okay. My phone died, and I got caught in the rain trying to find a charger. That's all. Jasper didn't move. Seconds stretched. The rain kept falling, drenching them both. Then, finally, Jasper exhaled sharply and pulled back, just enough to meet Levi's gaze. His expression was unreadable, but his usual sharp control was nowhere to be seen. Levi swallowed. His heart was pounding. Jasper's fingers tightened slightly on his arms before he abruptly released him. Get in the car. Levi hesitated. Jasper! Get in the car, Levi. The way he said it, low, rough, almost pleading, left no room for argument. Levi got in the car. The drive back was silent, except for the steady drumming of rain against the windshield. Jasper's grip on the wheel was tight. His suit was completely ruined, his jaw tense. Levi glanced sideways at him, feeling something warm settle in his chest. This wasn't just about Jasper's control issues. This was more. Levi leaned back in his seat, exhaling softly. You really thought something happened to me? Jasper didn't respond. His eyes remained fixed on the road, but his grip on the wheel tightened. And Levi felt his heart skip a beat, because for the first time he realized Jasper Whitmore didn't just care about his well-being. Jasper cared about him. Chapter 5. Warmth and Growth. Levi had officially lost control of his life. At first, Jasper's ridiculous level of concern had felt oppressive, a corporate dictatorship disguised as employee welfare. But now, without fully realizing when it had happened, Levi had stopped fighting it. Worse, he'd started expecting it. And when Jasper got too busy to pay attention, Levi noticed. You're pouting. Levi scowled and crossed his arms. I am not pouting. Caleb, leaning against his desk with a cup of coffee, smirked. You are. I am not. Levi huffed. It's just, Jasper's been weird today. Caleb raised a brow. Weird how? Levi gestured vaguely. He hasn't said anything. No reminders. No check-ins. No forced snack deliveries. It's almost quiet. Caleb took a slow sip of his coffee. So, let me get this straight. You're upset because Jasper isn't micromanaging your diet. Levi hesitated. Not upset. Just confused. Caleb snorted. Right? Levi groaned. Okay, fine. Maybe I got a little used to it. So what? Before Caleb could respond, Elias strolled by, looking far too entertained. Ah, so you've entered the why isn't he paying attention to me phase. Levi glared. Shut up. Jasper wasn't sure when it happened, but Levi had somehow woven himself into his life, bit by bit, until the absence of his presence felt wrong. Jasper had spent years structuring his days with ruthless efficiency. He thrived on predictability, control, and outcomes that could be measured. Levi was the opposite of that. And yet, somehow, Levi had become part of his routine. And Jasper, for the first time, didn't mind. In fact, he preferred it. You didn't eat lunch. Levi blinked up from his computer. Jasper stood in front of his desk, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Levi scoffed. Okay, welcome back. I was starting to think you forgot I existed. Jasper frowned. What? You've been busy all day? Levi said, waving vaguely. No lectures. No snacks appearing out of nowhere. No Levi eat. Honestly, I was worried. Jasper stared at him for a long moment. Then slowly he exhaled. I didn't forget. Levi's lips twitched. Yeah? Prove it. Jasper set a neatly packed lunchbox on his desk. Levi blinked, then blinked again. Warmth spread in his chest before he could stop it. Jasper hadn't forgotten. And, Annoyingly enough, that meant something. Chapter 6. Reluctant to let go. Jasper Whitmore was a logical man. He made decisions based on data, efficiency, and rational thinking. Feelings, unpredictable, irrational distractions, had no place in his world. At least that's what he used to believe. Until Levi Evans stumbled into his life and refused to leave. Or maybe Jasper was the one who refused to let him go. At first, it was just habit. Jasper found reasons to keep Levi around. Little things that sounded justified in his head. Stay late and help me review this proposal. You might as well eat in my office. I need a second opinion on this report. Levi always complained about the extra work, but he never actually said no. Then one day Jasper stopped making excuses, and Levi was still there. I don't understand why I'm here. Levi stood in Jasper's office, arms crossed, watching as the CEO typed away at his laptop. Jasper didn't look up. Because you work for me. I work on the 15th floor. And yet, here you are. Levi squinted at him. You literally just said you didn't need anything. Jasper had said that. And yet, when Levi had grabbed his bag to leave, Jasper had found himself saying, "Stay." Levi narrowed his eyes. Are you lonely? Jasper's typing stopped. Levi gasped dramatically. Oh my God. You are. Jasper glared. Don't be ridiculous. Levi smirked. It's okay, boss. You could have just said, Levi, I enjoy your company. I wouldn't have judged. Jasper exhaled slowly through his nose. Get out. Levi plopped onto the couch instead. Nah. You'll just find another excuse to make me stay. Jasper didn't argue, because Levi was right. Caleb noticed first. You do realize you've been dragging him everywhere, right? Jasper didn't even glance up from his documents. He's useful. He's an office administrator, not your personal assistant. Jasper flipped a page. Is there a point to this conversation? Caleb smirked. Just that, if you're going to keep finding excuses to keep him around, you might as well be honest about why. Jasper's grip on the paper tightened. Caleb sipped his coffee. Just saying. Jasper wasn't sure when it changed. When Levi's presence stopped being a habit and started being a necessity. When concern turned into attachment. When Levi became someone Jasper couldn't imagine his day without. And that realization, that was dangerous. Because Jasper didn't do attachment. And yet, the thought of Levi not being here, of not hearing his voice, of not having him nearby, it was unbearable. Levi knew something had shifted. Because suddenly he was the one waiting. Waiting for Jasper's calls. Waiting for him to drag him into another excuse. Waiting for Jasper to need him. And when Jasper got too busy, when days passed and Levi barely saw him, he hated it. Elias was the first to call him out. You're sulking. Levi scowled. I am not. Elias smirked. You so are. Let me guess. Jasper's been too busy to obsessively hover over you. Levi hesitated. Not obsessively. Elias wiggled his brows. You miss him. Levi groaned. I do not. Elias just laughed. You're in trouble. Jasper found Levi standing by the office window late one evening, staring at the city lights. He didn't hesitate. He walked up beside him, hands in his pockets. You should go home. Levi didn't look away from the glass. So should you. Jasper should. But he wouldn't. Not when Levi was still here. Silence stretched between them, filled only by the hum of the city below. Then, Levi exhaled. You know, you don't have to keep finding excuses. Jasper's jaw tightened. Excuses for what? Levi turned to face him, eyes unreadable. For wanting me around. Jasper stilled. And in that moment, finally, he admitted it. Out loud. I don't want to be without you. Levi's breath hitched. Jasper wasn't looking at him anymore. He was staring out at the city, as if saying the words directly to Levi was too much. But Levi heard them, felt them, and his heart pounded. Because he had known for a while now. But hearing it, feeling it, that was different. Jasper turned back to him, gaze steady, as if bracing for rejection. Levi let the silence stretch a moment longer, just because he could. Then slowly he smiled. So, what are we gonna do about it? Jasper exhaled, something easing in his posture. Levi reached out, tapping Jasper's chest lightly. Guess I'm stuck with you now. Jasper caught his wrist, holding it still. Guess you are. And neither of them wanted it any other way.